Hey friend, you are listening to Holistic Moms. I'm your host, Shan Wright, and I'm super excited for this special episode today. This episode is in participation with the third edition of Podcasthon. This is the world's largest podcast charity initiative, bringing together podcasters globally to raise awareness for important causes without any money involved. It's all about uniting voices to make an impact and increase awareness for these amazing nonprofits and charities. For 1 week, more than thousands of podcasts will highlight a charity of their choice. I will feature one today and one on Friday, March 21st. And today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Anna Girgan and Voices for Love. Anna Girgan is a transformational coach and founder of Epiphanies Coaching. She helps others unlock their epiphanies and live with purpose and joy. With 20 years in retail leadership, Anna rose from sales associate to corporate director of innovation, creating award-winning training programs and other groundbreaking initiatives. After experiencing major corporate burnout in 2023, she left her corporate career to live with her passion and purpose as an IPEC certified coach. She guides clients to break through the glass ceiling of limiting beliefs. Her new mission, very new as you will hear, is to love those experiencing homelessness. And that's where Voices for Love comes in. Voices for Love, Inc. is an approved 501c3 charitable corporation created to expand consciousness, magnify impact, and spread the experience of love, kindness, and well-being in mind, body, emotion, and spirit on this planet by supporting passion projects with education, training, fundraising, awareness, support, community, empowerment, and encouragement. Voices for Love supports conscious difference makers, Anna, engaged in work that makes the world a safer, more loving, and compassionate place for children, women, men, animals, the earth, and all of life. They support those people's efforts, their leadership, and the loving causes they're involved in. And that's where Anna is connected. I am continually blown away by Anna's story, so buckle up and let's dive in. Hey mama, are you overwhelmed by your full, blessed life? Do you feel stuck in the messy, mundane middle? Then I'm so glad you're here to take a breath. Hey, I'm Shan Wright, RN, holistic wellness coach, and a mom to four that went from perfectionism, control, and lots of anxiety to intentionally living through simple solutions and so much peace. If you are done with the stressed out life, hot mess express type of motherhood, then heat up that coffee again and let's live holistically well in the middle. Let's go. Okay, I am thrilled to introduce you all to Anna Girgan in this special feature episode. Anna, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you. So Anna and I are friends from high school and randomly, but not really randomly. I mean, nothing is random when God's at work. But all of a sudden, I should say, got reacquainted a couple months ago, and it's been so fun. And so I got to hear all the amazing things that she has going on in her life. And because it's a lot, we're just going to jump right in. Anna, you can go as far back as you want and then bring us to where you are today and what God is doing in your life today.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's so crazy. I keep telling people these last 3 weeks, honestly, have felt like a month's worth of life every single day. So it's just been wild, this journey that I've been on. But I would love to take you back just a little bit to the beginning. So I grew up in a household, a Christian household. My dad was a pastor. My parents were both super generous. Like, they had stories of just taking people into their home, feeding them, housing them from as soon as they got saved, right? My dad was also into prison ministry, and there's some people that have lived with us coming straight out of the state penitentiary and completely restored their lives and were able to
Wow.
live, normal lives in society after that. So that's how I grew up. And then in addition, when I was a preteen, early teen years, I'd say, my dad was going up to Kensington and Philadelphia every weekend. And he would take me with him and we would set up grills and grill hot dogs and feed the homeless in Kensington. Excuse me. people experiencing homelessness, trying to change my language around that.
Awesome.
Not
Thanks for
these people.
teaching us.
Yes, yes. Home, and here's the reason. When you say there's so much power in our words, and when
Hmm.
you say homeless people, you're attaching an identity to them. It's not their,
Absolutely.
it's people experiencing homelessness. Okay. And we'll go back now to 2 years ago. I was working a corporate job. I had worked my way up from sales associate to corporate director, overseeing, I had made it. That was the job that I always strived for. That's the job that I had been working for. And I was overseeing training, communications, and piercing services departments for a nationwide retailer. I was super burnout. I didn't feel passionate about the job anymore. I felt like most of my job was playing corporate politics and bureaucracy, and I just could not stand it. I felt the Lord give me permission to quit that job and go on an adventure with Him. So in February of 23, on my 20-year anniversary at work, put my resignation in and decided to go solo road trip the country. So
Wow.
yeah, that was amazing. So, in addition, right? So, that was the high that I was on, this like super scary risk taking. I'm going to quit my corporate job. I'm going to do the thing, I'm going to
Yeah.
finally do the thing that I've been dreaming about doing. And then a few days later, after I gave my resignation, I found out that my mom needed to go see an oncologist. She had been experiencing some things. So, this was like the crash, right? Like, oh my gosh. I just quit my job. Like my mom was planning to move to Colorado with my sister. I was going on this adventure and now this like shattering news. What do we do now? So we decided that we both had heard the call of the Lord initially and that hadn't changed. So we continued on our paths. Fast forward after that, I did solo road trip the whole country. The West Coast was my favorite. I went all the way into Canada and then did the entire West Coast border down to Mexico. So amazing.
Mm.
Highly recommend that drive.
Yes.
And then my mom passed away last year in February. So that was super hard. We were very close, and losing her was the greatest loss that I've experienced. I lost my brother 2 years before that, my dad 10 years ago. So I've, had a lot of loss in my life, but losing my mom was just a different ballpark. So
Mhm.
I took some time just to like sit back and went to New Jersey, lived with my sister for a while, and just grieved and recovered, went to therapy, like
Mhm.
all that stuff. But I had spent 6 weeks here in Redding, California during my travels, and I had missed it ever since I left. I love it here. I love the nature. I love the community. I love the church that I go to. So I just missed it. So I came back here to Redding on New Year's Eve. So I was here by the new year for 25. And I have always had that in my heart for people experiencing homelessness, just like a level of compassion and empathy, partially because of the way that I was raised. Also, I just think it's like a gift that I have, honestly.
Yeah.
It was 3 weeks ago from today. It feels like 6 months ago,
Oh,
but it
wow.
was from today. I felt God kind of send me on a scavenger hunt. It all started when I was leaving the house and I saw this gentleman in the dumpster of my apartment complex, just dumpster diving. So I went over to him and I was like, "Hey, bro, like I'm going to Chick-fil-A for lunch. Do you want anything?" And he was like, "That would be amazing." So, okay, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna come back in 45 minutes. I'll meet you here. So I go get him Chick-fil-A. I also drop into the grocery store because I was thinking, Chick-fil-A is not sustainable. It's going to feed him right now, but what about, for the rest of the week, what could I grab that he could just have something on hand? So I grabbed bananas, oranges, tuna packets with plastic forks. These are all things I keep in my car all the time now, by the way. Bottles of water, and chicken salad in packets too. I come back. I've now just gotten all this stuff and he's gone. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, Shane, what the heck? Little did I realize that that was a Holy Spirit setup to have him not be there because it sent me on this adventure for the day. Because I'm like, I have this hot Chick-fil-A. I can't just throw it away. I just bought this. Like, what? And there's so many people experiencing homelessness here in Redding. It's really heartbreaking. So I knew it wouldn't take long for me to find someone that was hungry. So I met several people that day because after I gave the Chick-fil-A away, then I still have some of these groceries. I'm like, you know what? Let me just keep this is kind of fun, like making people
Mhm.
smile. It's so easy to have them like feel so blessed. And it's a blessing to hear people say, like, oh my gosh, I was just praying for food and you just came along and that's amazing. Thank you so much. God is real. Like when you hear
Yeah.
just by handing someone a couple bananas and a bottle of water, like, okay, if I can be the hands and feet of Jesus just by doing something simple like that and following the lead, right? It's all about using your discernment and asking the Holy Spirit to send you to the one. Like, who are the ones that are hungry right now, who are asking right now, who are in need right now? So the day ended with me pulling up to the bus stop because there was this little old lady sitting at the bus stop. I had no idea she was experiencing homelessness. I just assumed she was waiting for a ride. So I was like, hey, you need a ride somewhere? And she goes, no, I'm waiting for a friend, but you can go get me a coffee. I was like, what? Like, you're requesting a coffee? This is so random. But then she said, and then you can come back and park and we can talk. And I was like,
Oh,
oh. She's lonely. Okay.
yeah.
So that's where it all began. I went and got her coffee. I came back and then I realized she was 81 years old and living on this bus stop bench that is created. They call it hostile something. I have to look this up, but it's things that are created that are public benches and such that are created so that you can't get comfortable. There's extra
Yeah.
thing. So she can't even lay down on this bench to sleep at night. 81 years old, sleeping straight up on a bench. And it's like getting cold at night still.
Yeah.
So I left her and I went home and I was sobbing and I couldn't shake it. And I went back. And long story short, I took her to a hotel that night and haven't let her sleep at the bus stop since because I just can't. So Mary is now adopted. She's my adopted grandma.
Yes. So sweet.
And it's been awesome. Such blessings coming out of this. Just, I love her. I'm make sure that I go see her every day and just to watch her countenance change. Like watch how much just having one person love on you can make such a huge difference. So it's teaching me so much too about like I had to take her to the hospital and just watching how she was treated and the things that happened there. Like I'm just learning a lot in a very short amount of time. So in the meantime, between time, when I moved to Reading, Jesus gave me this download for my rebrand. So I've had a coaching business for about 7 years, but I took a complete hiatus after mom died for about 9 months. And when I got here, I knew it was time to relaunch. And it's just been so much fun relaunching this business. It's Epiphanies Coaching now, which I'm obsessed with the name and the slogan and
Me too.
thank you. I just love it. I told my creative director, I was like, I'm gonna wallpaper the house with this logo. Like, I think I might get a tattoo of it.
Oh, yeah. You should.
So the slogan is What's Your Epiphany? And I'm launching a journal series soon, a self-guided journal series. And in addition, I am hosting my first retreat and I went all in and we're going to Costa Rica in May and I'm so excited.
Yes. Oh, I wish I could go. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second. I have some follow-up questions from your amazing testimony, which I know you really abbreviated. I'm all about identity and I'm all about us having kingdom identity and living out of that. And you said at one point, I think I have a spiritual, like a gift to see people. And it's a spiritual gift that you've been gifted by God to see people and to love them where they are. Not everyone can do that. I actually, being a nurse, like I would pray for that compassion that God had as a healer and as the healer. And as I'm helping people and caring for their health, I'm like, can I just have a little bit more compassion? I think it would help. I am compassionate, but I just felt like I needed an extra dose. Like, but you, I think, have that built in. And I wanted to say, like, your parents played an incredible role. Our identity is formed by age 8. And then from there, your life experiences and your traumas and everything that you go through contributes to how you see yourself and your identity and what's going on in your head. And they help. I don't know. Maybe they got a word from God that said, this was part of your identity. I'm not sure, but through their nurturing of their life and their missions that they were on, they helped you form this identity from the beginning, these neuron pathways literally inside that said, I need to love people where they are and help them and see them. And so I think that was amazing. And I know from just talking to you that right before this 3 weeks, you actually went on like a 5-day prophetic conference. And I see it as like God was preparing you for this mission. You said it was a mission. And yes, so tell the listeners at that prophetic conference, there's one thing that really stuck out to me that you heard from God and I think is like the fuel for this mission and it goes to your identity. Can you remember that or share
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, sure. So it's funny because the prophetic conference 2 years ago in 23 was my first time coming to Reading.
Hmm.
And that rocked my world in such a major way. Like I had complete strangers walking up to me telling me it's okay to quit and take a break. You don't even need to get another job yet. Like just go on. People that had no idea who I was. So that gave me so much confidence to do that. So then I went to this prophetic conference kind of expecting the same, right? Like these game-changing prophetic words. And I think I told you, like, it was okay. I was kind of disappointed. All that people told me over and over and over again is that I see people the way Jesus does, and that I see people through eyes of love, and that I have compassion. And like, okay, that's fine. But it didn't like, and then the next day after, like, the way that that played out so differently, because it was literally 3 weeks ago today was the day after the week of the prophetic conference had ended. And I woke up that morning feeling, you go to these conferences morning, noon, and night, you're at church, you're worshiping, you're getting fed, and then you come down off of that. And I'm like, okay, what do I do today, God? Like,
Yeah.
what and so I literally was like, I'm just gonna go get Chick-fil-A because I just don't know what to do with myself right now. And that's when I walked out of the house and saw Shane in the dumpster. So it was crazy. Like, it was
So
crazy. And
crazy.
another part of the story that I left out was at the end of this. So I not only put Mary in a hotel that night, I put Cody in a hotel that night. That next morning, when I picked them up, I had Mary, I prayed with Mary for housing. Within 5 minutes, her son called and said, "Hey, mom, you got pre-approved for housing." It was like, what? Cody's in the back seat. And I just felt led to ask him, I'm like, Cody, what's your middle name? And he goes, Shane. I was like, Shane? Shane is the one that started this whole adventure. And so I was telling my friend that, like, I don't know what, I'm still like over spiritualizing it. Like, I don't know what that means. And she's like, well, let's look it up, Shane. Oh, the meaning of the name Shane is God is gracious. And I'm like, "Ah, that's so spot on. That's so perfect. That's so perfect.
Yeah, so perfect. I don't think anything is over spiritualized, in my opinion. We are in a spiritual world and there's things happening all the time and we don't see them. And when you said, you got this word that I see people kept telling me, and I think that's God speaking through them, that I see people with these eyes of love and I love like Jesus. We have to then ask God, what does this identity mean? Like, people are calling me this. You are calling me this. You're telling me that I see with eyes of love, but that seems so vague, God. So tell me more. What does this mean? Tell me more. And he's like, nope, I'll show you. Instead, I'll just show you. And here's all these people that you can love. And I'm teaching on my podcast and in my group coaching program, I teach people how to find their kingdom identity. And that's one thing I tell them is don't take any word lightly. If God calls you his daughter, don't take that as, well, yeah, we're all daughters of God. Actually, I have a hat on right now. It says you're a beloved child of God. Like, don't take that as lightly. Yes, I'm a daughter because I've been, saved and I received Jesus, my savior. No, but if God is calling you his daughter, when you're going to him and saying, what is my identity? There's more to that. And he's going to reveal more when you can handle it and when it lines up with your life and when it makes sense. Nothing makes sense to us because our brains are so minuscule. But he, so just saying, like, I see with Jesus's eyes and I see people with these eyes of love, that could mean, well, it is. It's meaning so much more than you even realized in the beginning. And it's like, it's taking you so much further now. And you can always go back to that. Say, I'm on this mission and I'm doing all this because it's my identity. It's what I am. It's what I am. Right?
Love that so much. And I want to circle back too to something else you pointed out. For the mamas that are listening, the aspect of my childhood that I was able to witness and observe this coming from my parents, right?
Yeah.
I think that was so powerful. Not only did I have the opportunity to witness them acting out in kindness and compassion, I had the opportunity to watch the redemption stories that came from that. I have somebody that is as close, I call him uncle. And that's someone that my dad brought home from New Jersey State Penn. And he moved on to get married and have kids and have grandkids and just live a beautiful life.
Wow.
But the other aspect of this that I really want to drive home with your listeners is a lot of it had to do with my dad's, both of my parents' relationship with money. My dad's relationship with money was not fear-based. He did not live in a state of fear about his money. He lived with such an abundance mindset. Now, we weren't wealthy. There was seasons that were struggle seasons, but I never felt that way. Does
Hmm.
that make sense? Never felt like a struggle. My dad always lived in such a state of trust with God that there was seasons of my life that he lived purely off like donations and, things like that, and never felt it. He would never give less based off of his
Yeah.
circumstances. And I think that full circle, watching us never struggle or suffer based off of that helped instill that in me, that like my money in my bank account, I don't look at it as mine. It's
Yeah.
not mine. It comes from God. It goes right back to him wherever he wants me to give it. And having that free flow mindset helps him give it, because we're
Yeah.
not holding to it with a tight fist. Then he's like, I can't even give you anything because you're holding your fists like this. And
Yeah.
they're not, you know?
Yeah, you're not only being an amazing steward with your money, because I know you've done a lot for these people experiencing homelessness, but you're also being a steward with your time, and you are giving of your time. And I think, and I'm not saying you're never going to be in a relationship if that's what God has for you, that's what you want, but I'm saying you have right now, even with your job that he lined up for you, you have the opportunity to spend your time with these people. I, as a mom of four and a husband, I don't have time to go, hang out with a Mary every single day and even grab coffee every single day, like maybe once a week. But it's different, and I think that's a gift, and you're stewarding it as God has you steward it in this season. And I don't know how many single listeners I have or single moms, but you're not sitting there like, I wish my circumstance was different and drowning in like your anxiety over it, or just your being sad about it and just not living your life fully where you are because you're wishing for something in the future. You are living it right now to the best that you can.
Yes, 1000%. It's all mindset. I could get lost in, oh my gosh, do you know how easy it would be to choose a perspective that says, I just turned 40 years old. I never had the opportunity to get married and I didn't have kids, and my biological clock is ticking so loudly. I could fall into a pit of despair over that, but
Hmm.
I don't choose to. It's a choice. I choose to think about, oh my gosh, I had the opportunity to quit this job that was draining the life out of me, that I was literally, at Shan, at that point, like I was ignoring my friends. I was just work, 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 work. So having the opportunity for time freedom now, and having the opportunity to have the flexibility to go check on Mary every day, and like if I feel called or led, like there's somebody in need right now, and I go out with like hand warmers because it's snowing, that's such a beautiful thing. And I have to choose to stay focused on that as like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity. And whatever God's plan is for me is exceedingly abundantly better than anything I could imagine for myself. So I'm not going to fall into shame. I'm not going to fall into that despair or regret. or shame, if it comes up, because it does, right? We're humans, the thought will pass through, but it's not agreeing with it and latching onto it, taking hold of it and saying, oh, you know what? Yeah, woe is me. I'm so,
Mhm.
I'm so depressed and lonely and then you go down that path. It's immediately recognizing it and that takes work with a coach, right? Like being able to recognize your thought patterns, but it's immediately recognizing it and not grasping onto it as your truth and saying, nope, not going to go there. Let me choose a different perspective. And even saying it out loud. I am blessed with time freedom. I am blessed with the ability to sleep in the morning if I want to, and that's amazing. I have
Yeah.
great friends, I have a family that loves me, and speaking the opposite out of your mouth helps you rewire those neural pathways.
Yeah, and you're really living out take every thought obedient, make it captive. Take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. You're living that out because the thoughts will come, like you said, the lies come, and it's so easy to just have that be an everyday thing, but you're choosing, I hear that thought and I'm going to reject it. I'm going to take it captive and I'm going to say no. And then I'm going to be obedient to the call that God has on my life right now. It's so inspiring and encouraging. And I just know there's just no stopping you right now. So please share what that new mission that I just heard about, like, well, this has only been a 3 week thing, but just last week I heard about this new thing. Can you explain what House of Hope is?
I told you there's so much. So God used this whole experience with falling in love with Miss Mary, Miss 81-year-old Mary, to show me a bigger vision, right? It's like Mary is the seed, and I didn't even realize until people started pointing out, like, pretty cool that her name is Mary, like birthing something, right? So I think it's part, like, not to I hate the whole, like, not to toot my own horn or like humble brag, but I think it's part of the obedience of me following that day's call, and like because I was obedient and showed myself faithful that day, he opened up the next step in my.
Yeah, yeah, and I will say you are you've been very present on socials, sharing each day how you are hearing God's prompting and you are doing it. Like even the crazy things, which I absolutely love. I love that you're sharing it for one, because people need to hear that. Like God is fun. And he's going to tell you to go do some fun things. If you just listen, if we just open our ears and our eyes and we say, wait, that was an interesting thought. God, was that you? Okay, let me just go see. And you're doing it and you're sharing those stories. And I know you're changing people's lives, even the listeners that are listening on social media. Not even all the Marys, which you are. You're helping the Marys and you're helping everyone else. But even the people that are hearing your stories of following these promptings is so powerful.
Thank you. We should do a whole episode on how to hear from God because
Yes, I have several. I also have one with a um another coach who does inner healing and deliverance and hearing from God. And that's what we were talking about the whole our conversation. She's like, hearing God is so fun. And I feel like we get so stressed out about hearing his voice when he just wants to hang out with us all day.
Right. Yeah. Maybe link those episodes because it changed my growing up in. I just told you the way I grew up. I grew up in that house with that pastor, but I still didn't understand. When my dad would say I heard the voice of God, I'd be like, my God talks out loud to my dad. Like that's crazy. I wasn't computing what that meant. So
Mhm.
break it down to people like how it's actually just a thought or a feeling or a leading or a picture in your mind. I think that's a game changer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so thank you. So I did in that way with pictures and ideas and leadings and just this feeling of like excitement and knowing that it was him. I was inspired to open and start the House of Hope. So I am moving forward with that and just speaking it into existence by faith that this is God's plan and I am going to do this. And so what this is a house for people experiencing homelessness to restore them fully back to society. So it's not just a shelter, it's a restoration process. And with the experiences that I've had already in just 3 weeks, I'm seeing like, oh my gosh, how do you like getting healthcare is difficult for them because of the way that they're treated. Honestly, they don't even want to go to the hospital after having several negative experiences. Getting housing. You guys, I'm waiting for Mary's housing approval letter from HUD in the mail. She doesn't have an address. If
Mhm.
I wasn't here, what would she do? How do you wait? Put this together for me. I'm waiting for approval for a house and I have to get that information through an address. It doesn't make any sense. So all of these things wrapped up, we're literally setting people up for failure. Like the system right now is not set up to help people restore fully back into society. So I have this vision for House of Hope that is a fully all-inclusive experience, right? We have a health clinic, we have mental health services, we have obviously like the food court and the food, but we also have small businesses right there that people can get employed, like actually get employment. And so God gave me this whole download of all these different ideas, and I'm getting so excited about it. And I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be in phases, right? So phase one is emergency shelter and detoxing for those that need it. Not everybody that lives on the streets needs detox, by the way, but some do. So emergency shelter and detoxing. And then phase two is your micro apartments with a very small rent and establishing a job and required coaching, required workshops and learning. And then phase three is when you're like mostly back into society, but you can still get a lot of partnership. And it's all about community,
Mm.
right? That's really the game changer when it comes to total restoration. I watched a 2 hour documentary on addiction, and every single speaker, every single expert said all the root of all addiction is lack of connection. And
Mhm.
me. And I'm like, okay, so this House of Hope needs to be all these things wrapped up in one. And I am so pumped because the way that God has been answering my prayers in the last 2 months, girl, like it's already going to happen. Like it's already going to happen. It's just a matter of the how and the when, but I'm so excited.
Yes, I know. I love that, like that holy anticipation feeling where you know it's happening. You're just like, when? And so each day you're waking up excited. Like you are living on purpose, which gives you excitement. When you are someone who lives in your purpose, the God-given purpose that you've been given, then every day should be exciting. You shouldn't be. I talk to a lot of moms, my podcast, that are stressed out, burnt out. And if you're a working mom, or if you're just a stay-at-home mom, not just, but if you're a stay-at-home mom or if you're a working mom, no matter what kind of mom you are, you should be excited if you're living in your purpose, not in the stressed out, burnt out mode. And we just get bogged down by so many things, right? That we can't live in this excitement and this joy. He is the joy of our salvation. Like the joy is what spurs you on. And then you're sharing that joy with others because all of our purposes are connected to other people. You don't have a purpose. No one has a purpose that's for them and them alone. And
Mhm.
here, live this life. Here's this amazing purpose. And you're going to do this life solo. No, it's all connected to other people. And that's how you share the joy. You share salvation, you share. And so you are just, it's so inspiring. I so am here for it. Okay, so House of Hope is going to happen someday. We're just waiting when. Meanwhile, you are connected to another amazing charity, which we're featuring today, that is helping people like you. So explain what Voices for Love is.
Yes, this was so another divine thing. I am part of a coaching cohort, and one of my peers in this cohort heard the first. It was like I had just met Mary 72 hours before, and she literally just jumped up and said, "Oh, you have to be part of the nonprofit that we have, Voices for Love. We created it specifically for women like you that are out there on a mission to serve and change." And so she knew like part of their organization is about helping people who are experiencing homelessness. So when she heard that I just picked up these two people from the bus stop and spent money out of pocket to put them in a hotel and take them to the bus stop and because that's where Cody went. She was like, "Oh my gosh, let us cover you. Like, come in." Like, just welcomed me in. So I'm so blessed and honored to be part of Voices for Love. And so they're a nonprofit that was created just to help women like me so that we're not out here muscling through these things by ourselves and we're covered by a 501c. So super, super blessed.
That is amazing. Yeah. So I shared some of their information in the intro, and there's going to be in the show notes, but also you could always go to voicesforlove.org and donate. And this would help, this would be connected to Anna's House of Hope and her mission, but also you're supporting other women like Anna that are connected with Voices for Love as well. So I said we would go back to this. So I want to go back to this now because yes, we're waiting. We're waiting for what else God is going to do, and we're so excited for it. But meanwhile, we don't just sit on our hands and stay still. We get into action. And at the start of the year, this was crazy because the timeline was, again, you've been gifted with this time and you're stewarding it very well. But I think it was like 25 days into the year, and you messaged me. This is
Mhm.
how we got reacquainted. And you messaged me to go to Costa Rica with you. And I first, honestly, I thought it was spam because I was like, you don't know any more these days if I should click
I
on a
know.
link. And I was like, is this real? Because did you know that I'm praying about a retreat? Did you know I'm also a coach and that I've like, this is the start of 2025, January, and God said I'm going on a retreat this year and I'm hosting it. And you had no idea. And so we got to talking, and long story short, God has this mission on both of our hearts to lead coaching retreats. So we are going to be doing one in the fall, a little sneak peek, little in the fall. But for right now, I cannot, unfortunately, attend Costa Rica. But how did that all happen? And you were like, this has happened within, the start of the year, like 25, 28 days. So
Yeah.
what is, what happened with Costa Rica? What are we going to do in Costa Rica? What kind of epiphany are your people going to have? Not me. I wish I was coming because Epiphany is like my favorite day of the year. My people know that. My Epiphany episodes, I have two of them, and they are like one of my top downloaded episodes. So that's our word and that's our day. So okay, share about Costa Rica and all the ins and outs of it.
Okay, so have you ever had like an experience where you have something that every time you see someone else doing it, you just get this like holy jealousy in your belly? Like,
Yes, a
oh,
retreat. Yes.
I want to be doing that. That's been me with retreats as well. Like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. So at the beginning of the year, like I said, I rebranded my business. I'm like, I'm going all in. Like it's the grief season is over. The 1 year is over. I'm going to go all in on my business this year. So I get the download for the epiphanies. What's your epiphany? And then I am working on this journal to publish. So, self-guided journal. The first one will be on your financial mindset and living in a mindset of abundance. As I'm working on these things, I guess I like, got the algorithm on alert. So, I had a pop-up on Instagram, host your retreat with us. And I said, Jesus, is it time? Like, could I do this now? Like, I guess I could. Why not? Like, why not now? So I took it and I ran with it. And within 72 hours, I had launched a retreat in Costa Rica. And I am literally so over the moon excited. You can't see me, but I'm grinning from ear to ear right now. I have been shopping for the retreat swag and planning the workshops with my co-host, who is amazing. She's another coach, and she's my best friend from Connecticut, and she is going to be such an extra asset to have at the retreat. I've been planning all of those extra little logistics so that it is literally my dream is to create a vacation that is the best vacation that you've ever been on, and also have these workshops in there so that you come home forever changed, that your
Mm.
mindset shifted, that you're living a life of intention and joy and abundance. And just like you just said, you're able to wake up every day with passion and serve with passion, whatever that looks like. Serve your kids, serve your husband, serve at your job, whatever that is, do it with passion. I heard a great analogy last week at church, and they said, I could run on the treadmill for a little while and I'm just going to burn out because I don't love it. But you have me play basketball. I love basketball. I could play for two days in a row. And that's the difference is passion. When there's passion there, there's energy behind it. So if we can help instill passion in our lives and the things that we're doing, that increases our energy and we're able to get more of what we want to get done accomplished and what God's dreams are for us accomplished. So Costa Rica is happening May 4th through the 8th. We're staying in this gorgeous luxury villa. It's all ours. It's a private villa. It's guarded at night, super secure. There's an in-house private chef that is going to be serving us all of our meals. We have a pool. We're walkable to the beach, walkable to town. It's going to be phenomenal. And like I said, more daily workshops. We're going to have a vision boarding workshop. I will be giving a beta copy of the journal to everyone. And so every retreat attendee is my journal beta tester before I go full launch with publishing it. And not every single thing is taken care of. Transportation to and from the airport. Like I am making it all inclusive. I'm all inclusive plus plus plus. Like even on all inclusive, some of these things aren't usually included. I am making sure that you have literally nothing to do but book your plane ticket to Liberia International Airport, May 4th through the 8th. Send me your $500 deposit and you're in. I've got a couple more spaces left, and we're going to run a little giveaway this week.
Yes, yes, I totally forgot about that.
I know.
Yes, we're gonna do a giveaway, and this is like the announcement for it, right? And then you're gonna share yeah, what's the giveaway? How do they get into it? How do they get a little money off of this amazing, amazing vacation?
I decided since we last spoke, I'm going to up the ante. I'm going all in. I'm not
Okay.
going to do 50% off. I'm going to do a full bunk bed ticket. So they don't have to spend $1 other than the plane ticket. Everybody's responsible for their own flight and travel insurance. Other than that, you are coming on a luxurious retreat, all expenses paid. Oh, I didn't even mention sunset catamaran cruise included. Okay, like there's literally everything. And so, how you can qualify for this is you can nominate yourself or a friend for a random act of kindness. I just want to bless people that are out there just giving for, just giving to give, giving out of the kindness and the love in their heart. Even better if you know somebody that's like a mom that just really deserves this, that just needs a retreat and a vacation, right?
Yeah.
Somebody that just needs that refreshing moment. So yeah, a full bunk space ticket available. You can enter by going to my Instagram at Epiphanies with Anna, and finding the last post that I made and tagging the person that you are going to nominate, excuse me, for the free ticket.
Okay, so there's a post there or a reel,
Hmm.
and just follow those directions on that
Yep.
to be in. Or if you have troubles, just DM
Yeah.
Anna
Yeah.
at Epiphanies with Anna, right?
Yep. Epiphanies with Anna on Instagram or TikTok. And I'm going to be posting that. This is the announcement. So I'm going to post that reel as soon as this episode launches. So look for that reel posted on Tuesday.
Amazing. That is so, wow. That's very, very generous. I really wish I was going. And I even thought you said you have two spots available, or how many spots are available?
So there's multiple spots available, but there's two private rooms. Each of those private rooms can hold anywhere from one, if you want to come alone and just have that solo time, up to three people. There's a king bed, and a single in the two rooms that are available. There's also actually another single queen room available as well now.
I was
So
just thinking if someone who wins and then they're like, well, I want to go with my bestie. She also needs it. You guys can like share the cost of it because one's free. So you guys can
yeah,
decide what you want to do.
yes, we can definitely do work that out and do an upgrade to the single room and just use that $1,500 towards whatever you want to do for sure.
That's awesome. So we're doing retreats. Like I said, Anna and I are doing one in the fall. And I love, so one of the reasons I just knew we had to team up together was because of even just the word epiphany. So that's when, gosh, I always forget the year, but I think it was either 2021 or 2022 is when I got the word that I was living under this identity of being shy, and my identity that God gave me on Epiphany, which is January 6th, was you're strong and courageous. And so I've been living with that as my brand since. My whole group coaching program is called the Bold Blueprint. And I'm all about on this podcast encouraging you to live with courage and to step out and taking intentional living actions, which is courageous to do. And that's all from my identity. And that's why I'm so excited. People always say, you're such an excited person. I was like, not about all things in life, but about when I'm living in my identity and when I'm talking about what God has me purpose to do, I am so excited and pumped. So I love how it's all connected. And we share that dream of like going on a retreat or going on a time spent alone with God to where you come out excited and purposed and passion because God gave you a word. And so when you go on this retreat, don't expect to walk away the same person and to go back to your life the same. And you're just going to have like a fire, is what how I describe it sometimes, like a fire burning inside that you're living each day grateful. I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but I also like to, I'm a truth teller. We're not promised tomorrow. And so each day we have to live with, okay, God, what do you have for me today? This one day, that's all we can see. That's all we know. That's all we have. And that's what these retreats are going to help you do is to come out a different person living with this passion and this purpose. So I'm just thrilled to be excited. I mean, to get connected with you on this. And I'm thrilled for your first one in May. I love it. Okay. So we
We'll
got to
be
wrap
announcing.
this up, but thank you so much for sharing your heart and all that you're doing. You're absolutely amazing. Where again can I know we already said it, but where can listeners get in touch with you to oh, we didn't even mention this. Let's mention it real quick. You set up a GoFundMe for Mary. There was the need and you saw it. And so people have been supporting and encouraging you through all of that. So where can people get in touch with you? Again, to donate for Voices for Love is voicesforlove.org, and you will find their donation page and just all about the organization and what they're doing. And then where can people follow along more with your your stories, your incredible stories and how you're following God's prompting and all of this?
Well, this whole experience has gotten me onto TikTok. So I am now on TikTok at Epiphanies with Anna. I can't post the GoFundMe link there until I get 1,000 followers. So go follow me on TikTok, please.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good, okay, people. I'm going to go do it too because I don't know if I am yet. TikTok is not really my friend, but I'm on it. I'm on it.
Thank you. So at Epiphanies with Anna on Instagram as well, that is where you can find links in bio to donate to Mary's rehoming. And right now I'm doing all her grocery shopping and stuff as well. So it just helps me help her. And then on Facebook, you could find my Facebook page, which is Coach Anna Girgan LLC. My last name, Girgan, Coach Anna Girgan LLC. Any one of those, you can find me, contact me directly, DM me, and let's have a conversation. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. I am so excited for everyone to get in contact with you and just follow along. Let's get her to at least 1,000 people on TikTok. Let's go. Okay. Well, thank you. This was so fun. This wraps up this very special episode as part of Podcasthon 2025. And if you have enjoyed it, please feel free to visit www.podcasthon, which is podcast, HON.org, to discover all the other thousands of podcasters that are joining this week to support these amazing charities and nonprofits. It's so fun. So go over there and check all the other ones out. And thank you, Anna, for being a part of this. It was so fun.
And stay tuned, guys, for us to announce our retreat coming up in several months from now.
Oh, yes. We will do a whole nother episode. It's going to be fun.
Thank you, Shannon.
We're going to go to the promised land. That's a little sneak peek too.
Little teaser.
Bye. Hey, Wellness Warrior. I pray that blessed you. And if so, it would bless me big if you would write a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Not only would this make me super happy, but it will allow for others to find this show too. Also, I love to chat over on Instagram, so make sure to take a screenshot, share to your Instagram stories, and tag me at @TheShanWright so I can see it and we can keep chatting and bring other moms to chat with us. Until we get to chat again, mama friend, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace.